Merab got a hair transplant.
I'm talking about him marketing and doing
All
his
right.
videos, man. I made a good transition.
Is
He's
this
real
picture
self-centered.
This picture is pre-hair transplant.
Yeah, it's a comb front.
Yeah,
That's a comb. That's not a comb over. That's a comb front with the bangs there.
Well,
Stiff wind, and that buddy is fucking done.
I'm looking forward to. I mean, look at Cejudo's hair.
His
That's
hair looks
incredible.
great now, though. I mean, Merab's hair does. I mean,
Sure, it
fucking
does,
great.
dude. Those hair transplants are incredible.
Yeah, Cejudo does have a great hairline.
Look at that. Anyway,
Man, imagine
Next up.
Cejudo in braids.
next up at UFC 298, we do have a battle of the grapplers. We have Merab Dvalishvili taking on Henry Cejudo. Merab Dvalishvili is 16-4 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 10-fight win streak. He's taking on Henry Cejudo, 16-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he is coming off that controversial split decision loss to Aljamain Sterling. This is a battle of the grapplers. Merab Dvalishvili is a very good grappler who has insane conditioning. This guy will non-stop chain wrestle the full 15 minutes and not even breathe heavy. His striking is pretty good as well. He's going to time those takedowns incredibly well. And even if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. There's another shot right behind it. He averages 6.5 takedowns per 15 minutes. His last loss was all the way in 2018, where he still took down Ricky Simone 6 times. The gas tank is insane. Willingness to stick to a wet blanket game plan is insane. The UFC is not a huge fan of his, but that's why they made this matchup. He is coming off the decision win over Piotr Jan, where he had 11 takedowns. Same logic with the Fluffy Hernandez background or breakdown. For Merab to get 11 takedowns means he can't hold people down. But it doesn't even matter because he's always wrapped around your waist, your leg, or so. You are never, once that bell rings, you have the first 5 seconds. You have the first 5 seconds.
Was that an eye roll I just saw?
It was. You have the first 5 seconds before he starts wrapping his arms around. How you could still talk like this after what happened? He was insane. Anyway.
I mean, I hung in there.
Sure. And I was going full force. He's taking on...
At least he finally admitted it.
Henry Cejudo. Former Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo. Former 2-division UFC world champion Henry Cejudo. But he did retire right in the middle of his title reign in 2020. And a lot of people thought it was a negotiation play. A lot of people were like, yeah, he's fake retiring. He's going to hold out for more money. And whether it was or wasn't, he still gave up the best years of his career. While he is an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, his takedown accuracy is only 34%. And he does have some very good striking. He's got a positive striking differential. He will mix it up on the feet before working in some shots. And he is coming off of the insanely close loss to Aljamain Sterling, where a lot of people, myself included, think he won.
Me as well.
In my twisted universe, where I think Henry Cejudo won that fight, then he became the champion, right? He was the 2-division champ, left the sport, came back a few years later, took back one of his belts, beat Sean O'Malley. And in my mind, Henry Cejudo is the champion. But that's not the reality. He did lose that fight.
What the fuck did you just say?
I was just saying that in my...
convoluted bullshit was that?
It was basically just me living in a fantasy world where Henry Cejudo came back, beat Aljamain, which I do think he won that fight. And then he would definitely beat Sean O'Malley. That's the easiest fight at this weight class for Henry Cejudo.
Dude,
but unfortunately, that's not what happened.
Little twerp.
Okay, yeah. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. And unfortunately, Henry Cejudo is going to lose this fight as well. I just don't. If Aljamain Sterling and his mid-level takedowns took him down 4 times, yes, he defended 11 of them. But if he took him down 4 times, Merab is just going to non-stop dive at Henry's legs. Just non-stop. And it might even look like the Jose Aldo fight, where Henry's going to defend a ton of them and be against the cage and stay standing. And Jose didn't get that decision. So I just don't know how Henry's going to win this fight if he doesn't knock Merab out. And he did knock out Dominic Cruz, so that is possible. But I don't see it happening. I think Merab's going to win. The odds make sense. The widening of the odds makes sense. It just hurts my heart because I'm a giant Henry Cejudo fan, and I have been long before he was in the UFC. I had his book when he won the Olympics, like big Henry Cejudo guy, but I don't see him winning this fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I just don't. It's crazy. A 16-3 former double champion, and he's only 37. It's not like he's like in his 40s. Obviously, that's a little bit older, but it's not like he's crazy old. But I just don't think he's got it anymore. I just don't. I think that was his last kind of hurrah against Aljo, and even in that fight, I know that I thought he won that fight as well, right? I thought he won that fifth round and was able to win that fight. It was a close fight, but even in that fight, you didn't see the same Henry, right? Yeah. I think the Henry of old, honestly, might have smoked a guy like Aljo, who has some lack of abilities in the striking, doesn't have really good takedowns, right? I mean, that should have been a fight for Henry Cejudo. If that was the old Henry Cejudo, he honestly probably should have smoked Aljo. It was close. He ended up losing that fight, and now coming back against Merab, he's already talking, if I lose, I'm probably going to retire again. He's doing a lot of stuff on the side, right? All the YouTube stuff, all the whatever. He's on the embedded, fake firing his coach for content and stuff. I think... I don't think he's all in on kind of winning this fight, where I know for a fucking fact Merab is. I know that he's got the skits and stuff too, but this dude is one of those guys that's built different. I don't know if you saw the video come out this week. I don't know if it came out this week or the last few days of his toe. Have you seen that?
No.
He has a dislocated toe, or it's an old video, right? It's not new, but his whole, like, one of his ring finger toes is off the toe and built up, and you see the bone, and it's the rest of the toe is flipped on top of the whatever, and he's filming it, looking at it, and just thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. This dude Merab is built fucking different. We've already seen that you can't really even knock the guy out because he'll work through those positions. I think he's gonna be all over Henry. As you mentioned, Aljo got a couple takedowns, and Aljo's takedowns are no bueno, I would say, and Merab is he just never stops, man. And so, if Henry, if I'm him, I'm just lining up some knees, trying to connect with one, see what happens. But I think Merab's going to be all over him. I think this might end up being the better value on the card.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's unfortunate. I do really like Henry Cejudo. And somebody just said, Lion Man said Henry Cejudo is very unlikable. I disagree. Obviously, he plays a little bit of a character, the whole triple C cringy thing. But he obviously needed to. Demetrius Johnson was the nicest guy on planet Earth, and nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Now he's finally starting to get some credit, but it's only because Joe Rogan talks about it all the time, and, he's had success in multiple organizations. But unfortunately, especially for people who aren't a fan of, like, the cringe type stuff, being like a nice, normal, logical human being doesn't really build you a fan base in the UFC. So I agree, Henry's character, the Triple C character, isn't great, but Henry Cejudo's YouTube video breakdowns of, like, fights that already happened are some of the most...
He's a very smart dude, and he's a great dude, too. You can tell it's just people that know him genuinely like him and enjoy him and stuff. And even when he talks to opponents, you can tell a little smirk and stuff. He never gets, like, real mean about stuff, and it's just like,
No, and he understands this sport. He's a phenomenal coach. He'll be a much better coach.
Well...
What?
I think last year everyone that he's been under. I think Figgy's the only person that's ever won. People go to his camp, and
the problem is people go to his camp as like a final stop on their like tour. Like, you need to spend time with him and actually be built up at his gym. Like,
Mackenzie went to his to work on her takedowns, and
yeah, and then she left. She was there for like a week. It's like what Hamzat does. Goes to every gym for 30 seconds, or people train with him for 30 seconds. Like, he's training with Hamzat for his takedowns. And it's the same type thing. Like, the people who spend some real time in his gym have success. The people who pop in for a week.
Gary, who's been at Shoot the Box.
Like, people who stop in for a week, it's not how it works. Anyway, Jacob and I both on the same side. I think we're both extremely confident in Merab. I just hate that I'm confident in Merab. $8,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. That is going to be worth the price. Because, frankly, I mean, the amount of takedowns, control time, all that stuff. Yeah, he had 11 takedowns against Piotr Jan. So, 5 points of takedown, that's worth it. Are you actually going to say something, or that's just...
No, I'm literally trying to say it.
Because I paused the 8 times. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say in 3 rounds, I think Merab's really going to put the pressure on. You don't have to worry about shit. 3 rounds.
I completely agree. So we're both all over Merab. I want him to win. Well, no, I don't want him to win, but I'm almost positive he will. And a couple people have continued to comment this, just so everybody is clear, and I'm sure you'll see this after this video anyway. The Henry firing his coach thing was fake. He didn't actually fire his coach. It was just like something stupid he did. He thought he was funny, and he admitted it was a joke after the fact. which makes sense because it was like way too casual to fire your closest friend and coach. Anyway, if you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, I do have a bet on this fight. The round line leans, the tools, the DraftKings optimizer, and so much more. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. It is only $10 a month. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.